Hello viewers, and welcome to my weekly roundup of brand new shiny bikes that you probably can't buy right now, but that doesn't stop the manufacturers from launching them anyway. So plenty to talk about this week. And we have a stunning new paint job from Colnago, an all-road gravel light bike from BMC, a new aero bike that claims to be the fastest aero bike in the world. Not the first time we've heard that, is it? So that'll be an interesting one to talk about this week. And we have some new giant bikes with the brand new Shimano Dual Race and Ultegra group sets, a brand new gravel bike from Vielo with Chapter 3, and we'll start with not a new bike, but a World Championship winning bike. All that after this quick message from today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Pedalsure, the insurance company that makes it simple, quick and affordable to insure you and your pride and joy. And you can cover your bike against theft and also accidental damage. You can cover any sort of bike, road bike, gravel bike or mountain bike, and it doesn't matter if you have one bike or 5 bikes in your bike shed. And right now the company is offering a free gold rated hip lock DX D-lock if you insure a bike worth over £1,500 and pay annually. Sounds good, doesn't it? And you can find out more at the link down below. We'll start not with a new bike, but with the fastest bike in the world as ridden yesterday by Julien Alaphilippe in the UCI Road Race World Championships held in Belgium. If you watched it, wow, what an exciting and dramatic race that was. And if you missed it, definitely worth finding a YouTube highlights video and spending a few minutes watching the race because it was a good edition of the World Champs. And Julien Alaphilippe defended his title from last year in very dramatic style and definitely deserved the win. The way he rode, very exciting. At first glance, the specialised Tarmac S-Works SL7 bike he used is the same as last year and the same as he used all season, no real change there, but there's one notable detail, and that is in the tyres he used. Now normally all the pros in the peloton for the most part use tubular tyres which are glued onto carbon rims, the same as is used for donkey's years, but he didn't. He used a specialised turbo cotton clincher tyres with latex inner tubes on brand new Roval wheels that they launched earlier this year, last year. Put a link down below. So clincher tyres with latex inner tubes rather than the traditional tubular glue on tyres. So why was he using clincher tyres with latex inner tubes and not the preferred tubular tyres that the pros love? Well, because various studies, and Roval talked about this themselves, show that a clincher tyre with a latex inner tube is faster or has less rolling resistance than a tubular tyre. So the pros want the faster equipment. Specialized, Roval and all the other manufacturers supplying the World Tour teams want to give their riders the best, fastest equipment to win races like the World Champs we saw yesterday. And this is a faster setup. Now, downside to a clincher latex inner tube is a risk of puncture, which is no higher than a tubular. But where a tubular you can ride on a flat tyre until you get a spare bike, spare wheel, there is that downside of a clincher latex inner tube. But I guess they decided, and Julien Alaphilippe decided, it's a small risk to pay for the benefits you get in reduced energy, reduced watts when you're really going for it in a 260-kilometre race. So basically using the same tyres and the same inner tube setup as we'll use on a daily basis. So what it really signifies perhaps is another nail in the coffin for tubular tyres as a pro peloton reluctantly in some places but willingly in others move towards a future with clincher tyres and latex inner tubes, and maybe next is tubeless, but probably a few years away from that actually happening. Onto a brand new aero bike from a small Austrian brand you might have heard of but probably haven't, called Simplon, and their brand new Pride 2 aero bike. Now, we're well used to new aero bikes, aerodynamic road bikes being launched with big heady claims of them being the fastest in the world, and this one is no different in that respect. But this one has magazine data that might back up these quite lofty claims. The big news with this brand new Pride 2, which replaces the old Pride 1, is that it takes into account the new UCI rules, or how the UCI have loosened the restrictions around aerodynamic tube shapes on road bikes. And we see that in how dramatic this bike looks. So firstly, up front, we have really deep fork blades, much deeper than we've seen in the past. We also have a deeper head tube section, deeper down tube, and the seat tube and seat posts also look much deeper than we're normally used to as well. Otherwise, we get drop rear stays, full internal cable routing, And there's a split raised handlebar design, very similar to the Vielo S5 as well, which has a similar, not identical design. The Vielo quite a bit higher, this looks like a lower version of that, but the idea is the same, create that smooth airflow underneath the stem handlebar and straight across the top tube. The company worked with Swisside, a leading aerodynamic expert, and they do a lot of work for various bike manufacturers, CFD testing and wind tunnel testing. And Simplon claims that this new bike, the Pride 2, breaks all previous wind tunnel records, which is quite a lofty claim indeed. But here it gets interesting because a German bike magazine has tested the bike in their own wind tunnel testing at the GST wind tunnel and compared it to all other aero bikes, the leading aero bikes on the market. And they claimed in their independent testing that the new Pride 2 is as fast as the company claims and faster than other bikes. It's 13 watts faster or less drag than the Cannondale System 6, which is the next faster bike, and faster than the Canyon Air Road and faster than the Trek Madone. Now, of course, we have to take all aerodynamic claims with a big pinch of salt here because most manufacturers do their own testing and there's no standardized testing protocol across the industry for testing aero bikes and wheels. So comparing one set of data from one manufacturer to another set of data from another manufacturer is really tricky because the testing protocol and the wind tunnels themselves can be very different as well. So it's very difficult to compare one bike with another bike. Now, it's a shame there isn't more independent testing. I'd love to do some here on the channel if I had the support to make that happen. Take a load of aero bikes down to a wind tunnel, do some testing and see how fast they are and how they rank compared to each other. But for now, the Simplon Pride 2 is claimed to be the fastest aero bike in the world by its manufacturer, and this magazine seems to back that up. So very interesting. But there's one bike missing from that list, of course, that brand new Ribble we saw a few weeks ago. BMC has launched 2 new bikes this past week. You might see my video on the Unrestricted LT, their new full suspension gravel bike with 20mm head shock, and you can see that linked up above and down below if you missed it. Hopefully a review coming very soon. But now we talk about their Roadmachine X. Now the Road Machine is their endurance road bike. They have the Team Machine, which is their race bike, and the Road Machine is a more endurance bike, so more laid back geometry, not quite as aggressive, bigger tyre clearance, and it's been around for quite a few years now. And back in 2018, they launched a Road Machine X, which is a more all-road version of that platform, but only available with an alloy frame. Well, now it's available with a carbon frame, available in 2 versions. Now, what is the X all about? Well, I've basically taken that Road Machine platform and put bigger tyres in. The clearance for up to a 33mm tyre on this frame, and rather than the more kind of speed-focused, race-focused build of the regular Road Machine, this has a more all-road version. Gravel light perhaps if it's dry and dusty, or just for dealing with rough roads and potholes where you want bigger tyres to give you that kind of comfort you want on a long ride. And BMC is not the first manufacturer to do this. Cannondale have done it in the past with their Synapse with the SE tag, where they take their Synapse and swap out the 28mm tyre that comes with it and fit a 30 or 32 as a matter of changes to make it more of a less focused racing bike and a more endurance all-day bike really. The new bike comes in 2 specs with SRAM ETAC group sets, and interestingly they use a new Explore 1x setup with single 44 tooth chainrings and 10 44 cassettes, and will cost from £4,450 up to £5,700, and both fitted with 32mm wide WTB Expanse tyres. So what it really is a bike many of us want and need for the sort of riding that most of us do, riding on all sorts of roads, a bit of gravel, a bit of dirt, but mostly roads, potholes, rough surfaces, extra comfort you get from a bigger tyre. But the one thing it's missing as a UK viewer here is a lack of mudguard or fender mounts. So that really restricts it from being a 4-season year-round bike in the way that a Fairlight Australis or Mason Cycles definition or resolution is. Many other endurance bikes from other brands do have mudguard mounts, so a real missed opportunity, especially when you have the clearance for mudguards and wide tyres. So that really holds it back from being the bike it could be and should be. And probably in 2021, clearance for a 33, 32 tyre isn't really enough for this sort of bike. They're trying to be gravel light. And the Trek Madone is now up to 38, so that's probably the direction this bike needs to go in to be more future-proofed, but hopefully an update is coming soon. Next up, we have our first pictures of the giant TCR Advance with a brand new Shimano Duro-Race Di2 and Ultegra Di2 12-speed semi-wireless electronic group sets. And my goodness, they look really good. No details on pricing or availability in different areas. I think these were on the Australian website. There's nothing on the UK website, but hopefully they'll be launched soon. Probably supply issues at the moment. So firstly, there's a range topping and very spendy 13,000 Australian dollars TCR Advanced SL with a super lightweight sub 800 gram frame and the integrated seat mast. So we have the Shimano Duro-Race Di2 12-speed group set on that with the power meter on a new crankset and Cadex carbon fiber tubeless wheels. The bike looks amazing in this raw carbon finish with reflective silver logos, and I think Giant are definitely onto a winner with the way the bikes look at the moment. And also showing a lower spec Ultegra Di2 bike for 7,200 Australian dollars with an amazing amber glow fade paint finish. I love it, love it, love it. I love this direction that Giant is going, much bolder when it finishes without being too over the top. Hopefully these will be available in the UK soon, and hopefully I'll get my hands on one to test in the near future. Next up, we have a brand new Vielo V+1 gravel bike in collaboration with Chapter 3, the David Miller brand that we've seen used for other bikes like Bromptons and Castelli clothing in the past as well. So the V+1 is Vielo's gravel bike, all-road gravel bike that the company launched a few years ago. Their first model, followed up by the R+1 you might have seen my first ride on last year. So all road, all gravel, wide tyre clearance, designed for comfort, nice lightweight carbon fibre frame and fork as well. And they partner with David Miller's Chapter 3 brand to create a limited run of 50 bikes with a very special, unique one-off paint job. The finish involves a technique requiring multiple thin layers of paint that are then sanded back to create a one-off finish. No two frames will be the same. Apparently it's made to look dirty when clean and smart when dirty. The limited run of bikes will be spec'd with the Campagnolo ECAR 13-speed 1x group set and carbon fibre Shimano wheels and WTB Riddler tyres and will cost you £7,000. And lastly, Colnago has launched a brand new bike. Well, sort of. It's a new paint finish on the Tour de France winning V3RS, and the new bike incorporates blockchain technology. Now, if anybody watching this knows what the hell that means, then do let me know down below because I haven't got the foggiest. Apparently, it enables you to put your proof of ownership into a tag on the frame. So if somebody steals your bike and tries to sell it to an unsuspecting consumer, they'll be able to tell who owns the bike, so they won't be able to pass it on so easily, unless you can just take that tag off. I don't know. So on blockchain technology is a new one to me, up there with cryptocurrency. I haven't got the foggiest how it works. New technology stuff, but that high tech aside, I love the paint finish on this bike. They call it Ice and Fire, and apparently designed or influenced by Tadej Pogačar, the twice Tour de France winning rider who rode this bike at the World Champs yesterday, and they will be auctioning this bike off next year as well. No details on a price yet, but you expect it to be pretty expensive, I'd imagine. But I'd buy this bike for the paint finish alone. I think it looks absolutely splendid. But I'm not really sure what this blockchain technology is all about, so do let me know down below if you know. Anyway, that's my quick roundup of some new bikes and a World Champs winning bike on clincher tyres, so quite an interesting turnaround of events there. Let me know which of your bikes floats your boat and which doesn't. I'd love to hear your thoughts as always. And if you want to see more new bikes, then click on that video up there, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that button there. Okay, thanks for watching. See you all again very soon.